So I thought I would give you a quick update on what pregnancy has been like the second time around. It is so wildly different than the first that I wanted to share everything that's been going on, and I want to give you the gender reveal. Okay, so this is kind of a departure from my normal personal finance videos, but obviously bringing a new baby into the world is very much related to your finances. You have to pay for the doctor's visits, pay for the birth, pay for all of the baby things. And so there are some differences that are going on with this pregnancy that was different than with my first, and it has just been a roller coaster. I was so sick. I was so nauseous basically the first 18, 19 weeks of pregnancy. It was just nonstop feeling sick to my stomach, extreme fatigue, getting sick a lot. And I think the hardest thing about a second pregnancy is not so much the physical exhaustion and the nausea. That is hard, but it's doing that and also being with your toddler. That's the hard part about a second pregnancy, is you still have to get up with them in the morning. You still have to do their routines, all of the things. They need you constantly. We have a 3-year-old, so she's constantly asking us for snacks, for milk, for us to play with her, like all of the things that a normal toddler would do. And then couple that with just being physically exhausted. It's a lot for a second pregnancy, and honestly, I'm just like, I'm done after this. I don't know. I see a lot of influencers and content creators who are on their 3rd or 4th child, and I'm like, how do you do that? Because it's just so physically demanding, and I love the idea of having just my 2 kids and it just being a really cozy, intimate style family. So that's just my personal preference. I could very well change my mind in a few years. Don't think I'm going to. Please let this video be a reminder that this shit is hard. So the good news about this pregnancy is I can now feel the baby kick, and I started to feel the baby kick around 15 weeks, but then more consistently and every day, probably within the last week and a half. So about 18, 19 weeks, I was feeling baby kick every single day, which was really, really awesome. That's probably my favorite part of this. And then just going to the midwife appointments, and we just had our ultrasound yesterday for our 20-week. And so it was really cool to see the heart and the chambers of the heart and the brain and the spine and all of the different things that are developing. So I think that's just the coolest part. And when you hear the heartbeat, I just got back from a midwife appointment, and she was like, okay, let's hear that heartbeat. And it's just instant, there it is. And you hear that sound, and it's just like there's new life happening right now. I think I get so focused on my physical ailments and just trying to feel better that you kind of forget that your body is also growing whole organs and spines and brains and eyes and just fingers. It's so wild. So, okay, so that's the great part about pregnancy is just knowing all of that, hearing that, being able to feel baby kick. The bad was obviously the nausea was just as bad, if not worse, than when it was with Quinn. And then the ugly is on top of that. Once I finally started getting out of the nausea phase, I was like, oh, I'm starting to feel better. I'm waking up and not feeling sick to my stomach. I need to have a snack or something before I even get out of bed. I started to develop some muscle and joint pain in the back of my pelvis. It's located basically on the top right butt cheek. And it started to really hurt, especially when I would try to get into a car and swing your leg into a car, or swinging your leg in and out of a chair. Even just walking was starting to feel achy, and sitting in uncomfortable seats. So I started to feel it. It got worse, and then I realized, oh crap, this is going to get bad. So I made an appointment with a pelvic floor physical therapist. I saw one in San Diego whom I loved. So I found one here in Kansas City. And after her assessment, she realized that I have symphysis pubis dysfunction, SPD, not STD. Oh, okay. SPD. And what it is basically the relaxin hormone that your body produces during pregnancy. As the name says, relaxes the muscles and joints around your pelvis to help make space for baby and help, open up your pelvis and your hips. So when that happens, your muscles and joints kind of like get all out of whack and they're like, oh, nope. So that one spot, that one joint really just kind of clenched up on me. And so now I'm having to go to physical therapy basically every week. And now I'm kind of trying to figure out, do I pivot and try to do maybe a chiropractor, prenatal chiropractor appointment, which I've never done anything with a chiropractor before, so it kind of make me nervous, but I was referred to one by my cousin who specializes in the Webster method and with prenatal patients, essentially. So I'm going to try to do that, may try to get a massage. This has been so debilitating because it makes it hard for me to keep up with Quinn. It makes it hard for me to do normal things. Like yesterday, Kyle and I went to Costco and I was trying to do a lap around the warehouse and I said, yo, you got to take it from here. I'm going to have to wait for you up front because it was just that hard to walk. Now, I did get from my physical therapist, hopefully you can kind of see it, a belt, a little Velcro belt that goes around my waist so that it actually like pulls everything in and makes it really tight. There's little elastic bands that you can make to tighten it, and that has really helped. Unfortunately, Kyle and I were planning on going to Spain to visit my sister and her fiance who live out there right now, and I just thought there's no way I could survive an 8+ hour flight to Madrid. So I had to cancel that, and it's probably for the best because of where we're at in life with pregnancy and this new house and trying to get settled here. But it was really, really disappointing for me because I love to travel. I love international travel. I think it's one of the things that fuels me, and so canceling that was a really big bummer. Okay, let's talk about the birth plan, because if you remember from my first with Quinn, I actually gave birth in a birthing center that was connected to a hospital, and I had a really, really great experience. This time around, I wanted to go with a true standalone birthing center. I found the one and only in Kansas. Kansas, you guys, this state is kind of messed up with birthing centers. The birthing center announced that they were closing in September due to not being able to get same reimbursements from health insurance companies that hospitals do. And so it was a huge disappointment to hear that this birthing center would no longer be, and they're basically like, hey, we can give you a list of providers that we recommend. And so I actually saw on that list of providers was one of the providers that my physical therapist was telling me about. And she said, this is a midwife OB duo. They actually do their deliveries in a hospital, but they're not part of the hospital. They're not staffed or employed by the hospital. So they have their own practice. They just use their labor and delivery rooms. And so I said, that could be interesting. So now I'm pivoting. This actually happened with Quinn. I was with an OB and then she got let go. And so then I pivoted to a midwife, and I was like, oh, I should have been with a midwife this entire time. And now I started with a midwife and I'm pivoting to an OB and a midwife. It's just been kind of a wild ride. I had a lot of grief over that news. And then I told myself, like, this still can be a really wonderful birth experience because these providers came recommended from my birthing center. So that's really helpful. And my physical therapist who had twins vaginally. And I was like, okay, yes, I love that. If you were still able to have twins, because I feel like a lot of times those who are pregnant with twins are just like forced to have C-sections, and I'm not about that. So I am hopeful. I have not met with this OB or midwife yet, but I am hopeful that things will be able to shape up and move in a direction that makes me feel supported and helps baby feel supported. Let's talk about what we've spent on baby so far during this pregnancy. So we just just had our ultrasound. They called it a high risk ultrasound. It's basically like just more measurements. They do a lot of work around looking at the heart and all the chambers and stuff. This was recommended to me by my birthing center because my birthing center does not actually have an ultrasound machine. So they basically farm that out. Went to the ultrasound. That was $200. I also bought a breast pump from aeroflowbreastpumps.com. Highly recommend aeroflowbreastpumps.com. Depending on your health insurance, you plug in that insurance information. They're going to tell you exactly how much your insurance is going to be applied towards a breast pump. I had $150 that could be applied towards a breast pump. So essentially you could get one for free if you find one for $150 or less, or you can go ahead and upgrade your breast pump, get the $150 off, and then you pay the difference. That's exactly what I did. I paid the difference and upgraded to the Willow Go. So this is a wearable portable breast pump that just fits into your bra. There are no wires. You can literally walk around all around your house. You can take a walk outside and be pumping at the same time. Because my breastfeeding journey was so disappointing with Quinn and not being able to do that, my pumping journey was also cut short. I think it was like 3 months total that I pumped, and then I stopped because my mental health was taking a toll. This time around, I'm well more equipped on not only just what I want to do for breastfeeding and being able to pivot, knowing that I'll need to pivot in case baby can't latch. I'm also really prioritizing my mental health and talking to my primary care provider and saying, hey, I had postpartum anxiety and postpartum depression with my first. I don't want to miss the newborn phase again. What can we do to make sure that I am prepared and I can get access to the medication that I need? And so we've already talked about that. We have a plan in place for that. And I'm feeling very confident that if I feel those symptoms again, and I 100% know what those symptoms feel like now, that I can immediately start my medication and not worry about, all of the other things that make me anxious. Kind of got off on a tangent there from the breast pump, but that's what I'm thinking. I'm also taking an online course called Boob School. I love this name, Boob School. Who doesn't like boobs? Let's talk about breastfeeding and boobs. So it's been really eye-opening because a lot of the stuff taught in this course, I did not learn from my lactation consultant or the previous nurses or OBs, midwives that I had been working with during my pregnancy with Quinn. I'm learning a lot. If you guys are interested, if you're like, ooh, that does sound like I'm pregnant or about to be, I want to learn more about breastfeeding, I highly suggest you check out that course. I will link to it in the description box. I also had to pay for some doctor's visits, $500 on that. That included urgent care, primary care, and the birth center. Urgent care was kind of crazy because at the beginning of my pregnancy, around 7 weeks, I had what I'm calling a panic attack that lasted all day. It very much reminded me of my symptoms of postpartum anxiety. I've never had panic attacks before prior to giving birth. Never had any kind of yes, anxiety, stress for sure, but never had that racing heart, racing thoughts, can't shut my mind off, can't sleep. And it actually occurred during 7 weeks of pregnancy, and I was like, I need attention right now. So I ended up getting a prescription for promethazine, which is a antihistamine actually, but it helped with my nausea and it helped me sleep. And somehow the combination of those two things really just helped calm me down so I could sleep better. Also, I have a fabulous childhood friend who is a pharmacist, brilliant mind, who's also a new mom. And I was able to talk to her about all of this. One of my coaching clients is a nurse practitioner who knew exactly what to do. And I was like, I'm coaching you, now you have to coach me, which I love that relationship with all my coaching clients. Well, not all of them, but her specific was like being able to have that relationship with your clients to be able to say, hey, this is an area that I'm struggling with, and let's talk about it. So I had medication prescriptions that are filled around $30. Okay, so that's all the craziness that has been happening in the last first half of pregnancy. By the way, I should probably show you my bump, and then let's get to the gender reveal. Okay, this is a 20-week and 1-day bump. It is definitely bumping. It's gonna get twice as big. But you probably want to know if it's a boy or a girl, so let's find out.
Uh-oh.
What do we think?
I think it's girl.
I think it's girl.
I think it's unanimous. I think everyone thinks it's a girl.
I think it's a girl.
What are you think it's a girl now?
Well, I said that earlier this morning.
Okay, are you good with closing your eyes now?
Yeah.
Okay,
Okay.
take your sunglasses off.
Okay, so we all close our eyes?
Yeah.
No,
All of us?
Yes,
You open your
yes.
eyes.
Really? Okay.
Okay, do you want to take a bite or you want to cut it?
Because she's got to cut open the cupcake.
Okay, take a knife. Here, help me. Or you want to break it with your hands?
Get
Or
in
then cut
there.
it. Ready? Okay, now we're going to tell everyone what the color is. What color is that?
We knew it, didn't we? We knew it.
What is it, Quinn?
It's a little sister,
Got a
Quinny.
little sister.
It's okay.
And you're going to be the big sister.
Aww.
And you wanted a girl, right?
Yes.
Did you wanted a girl?
Yay!
Yay.
It's a sister! Yay!
Congratulations.
I'm so excited.
Can we pick out names?
Don't forget to like this video if you want to see more pregnancy updates from me on the channel, and subscribe if you want to be part of the DFM family. We are committed to helping you achieve financial confidence, crush debt, at least more fun and fewer payments, and I'll catch you in the next one. Bye.